Hello, good people. I wanted to comment on the politics of building bridges initiative, famously known as the BBI in Kenya. Now, the BBI has come to be one of the most controversial political processes in the recent political history of Kenya. Now, there are many people that have raised their concerns over the BBI project, but we see that the President of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, and the former Prime Minister, Mr. Raila Odinga, are stopping at nothing in their quest to push the BBI agenda down the throat of Kenyans. We do not have a situation where the people of Kenya were given an opportunity to actually decide that they wanted something like the BBI, particularly around this time in the history of the formation of our nation. Now, the issue with the BBI is actually the reasons behind it. And that's why it is a big problem whenever people, critical voices, are trying to raise their concerns over the BBI, and then you see the media and the political class, particularly those who are supporting this initiative, quickly start talking about the issues of go and read and understand what is in there. Now, there's a problem with that because people decide what to read. You can't, insist that we have to read something that we know it's problematic, because the questions we are asking, even before you send us to go and read, around who actually initiated this process, why did they initiate this process, for what ends did they initiate this process, what do we as the people, the ordinary people of Kenya, stand to gain out of this process, and what is the implication, what does it cost us, what is the cost of all this on us as a people, on our aspirations, on our livelihoods, on our values, on our body politics as a nation. So there are fundamental questions that the proponents of the BBI are not responding to, and that's why it remains a fundamentally flawed project, because you can't push something and you can't insist you want to read and tell us what you disagree with, when you are not telling us actually why did we need this in the first place. Why do we need a written document before you tell us to read? Now, these are fundamental and philosophical questions which unfortunately many Kenyans are not willing to engage. Recently, Dr. Wandi Anjoya engaged with Dr. Mordecai Ogada, and I think Mordecai clearly stated that the people of Kenya, particularly the middle age, from around 35 years to around 45, 50 years, are useless. This is a generation where people do not actually engage with issues. So every time you critique whatever it is that, really stupid policies and initiatives that the governments or politicians, the people in power, come up with, this same kind of group of people are not able to critique, to discern, to form an opinion around these issues. And that's why we have a problem. And that's why I'm afraid this BBI thing might end up actually sailing through and imposed on us, because the segment of our society which should push back is totally dead. It's not engaged. It's not critical at all. So that said, I feel like it's a high time we started thinking more critically about the processes in our country, and it's high time we started asking more critical questions about what it is that the politicians in our country do and the implications of the acts that they undertake. Now, the origin of this whole BBI thing was the handshake, which happened in 2018. And we know that the handshake was actually meant to quell the kind of disquiet that was in the country following a deeply problematic election in 2017. Now, instead of us, having a process of dealing with the electoral fraud and working towards, institutionalizing and strengthening our electoral processes, we abandoned that and we went into the BBI. So the BBI is another, one of those many things that we do which divert our attention from the real issues that Kenyans should be busy dealing with. So we know that the Uhuru Kenyatta with his capitalist friends, across the world, particularly in the UK and the US, wanted stability so that they can continue with their businesses, so that they can continue with their security projects. And so the kind of noise that was coming from people and the disquiet around the fraud of that election was bad for them and for their businesses. And that's why, they practically bribed Raila Odinga or intimidated him to cave in and accept this handshake, and from there went into the BBI and all that. So this is where we need to take this conversation. We need to go back there. Why did we have issues in 2017 around elections? What is it that we are doing about our electoral processes? What is it that we want as a country in terms of strengthening our democracy? Are elections an important segment or aspect in our democratization process? If yes, what have we done? What did we learn from 2017 and what are we doing about them? Is BBI, the so-called ultimate solution to all these problems? No, it is not. The BBI is about two guys and their friends, particularly Uhuru Kenyatta and his friends who are willing to secure their political futures, who are willing to safeguard what they have looted throughout the history of our country. And so they have bribed Raila Odinga and robbed him in and blinded him. He has abandoned the cause of championing for the rights and the freedoms of the people of Kenya and aspirations for democracy and all that, and ganged together against the people of Kenya. So the BBI and its champions, President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, are the actual enemies of the people of Kenya. We must learn to accept that these people are not for us. They are against us, and as a people, we need to gang and organize and overthrow them. Yes, we need to overthrow these people who have taken us hostage and who think they have this sense of entitlement that they can do anything that they want with our country, including waking up one day and deciding this is what we think that Kenyans want. No, we do not want the BBI. We are saying no to the BBI, and I'm calling on you, the people of Kenya, the people of goodwill, especially outside the bracket of this useless generation, the young people, rise up, question the BBI, ask fundamental questions about it, and if possible, and which is what we are really forging for, let's reject overwhelmingly this whole BBI process, especially when it's subjected to a referendum. Thank you very much.